As I previously reported to you guys, Carmelo Anthony had his first court date today, and I would say that things went pretty well for Carmelo and his family, which is not a big surprise considering the fact that the judge had to come out and say that she's never seen anything like this. Not necessarily the case, but the response to the case. They had to have more security in the courthouse and surrounding the courthouse than ever in the history of this judge working. So obviously they were afraid that there would be some type of BLM riots or protest if this court date did not work in Carmelo Anthony's favor. But the court date did work in his favor because his bond has now been reduced from $1 million to $250,000. I want to go ahead and dive into some of the details that were released about what went down in court today. The 17-year-old suspect charged in the fatal stabbing of a teen at a Frisco track meet earlier this month has had his bond reduced and will now be on house arrest following judge's ruling Monday. A Collin County judge has agreed to lower Carmelo Anthony's bond from $1 million to $250,000. Anthony will also be required to wear an ankle monitor and stay inside his parents' home if they can post bond. Anthony has been in the Collin County jail since April 2nd, following his arrest for fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. During the hearing on Monday, Anthony's defense attorney questioned the teen's father about his character. His father testified that Anthony was an A student, the captain of both his football and track teams. Anthony's father also told the court that he's the sole provider of their family and could not afford the $1 million bond amount. Anthony's attorneys asked the judge to reduce his bond to $150,000. Defense attorney Mike Howard said, given that Carmelo has no prior criminal history, given that this young man has not been in any sort of trouble before, $1 million is not necessary. This family needs to be able to survive. There's been a tremendous amount of pressure. I think at this point, living in a gated community, given everything, the safety of their younger children is very warranted. Security details and criminal defense are not cheap. Howard suggested putting Carmelo on an ankle monitor and imposing house arrest to give this young man a chance to get out of jail and be with his family. Prosecutors, who only submitted the police report and no witnesses, also questioned Anthony's father during the hearing. Bill Worski, Collin County first assistant, asked if they had more than $400,000. Why haven't they bonded him out of jail yet? The family said it is a difficult process to get the money, and it isn't as simple as giving a phone call to access it. The family also said a lot of the money has to go to the legal defense. Worski said this appears to be unjustified first-degree murder. For reasons unknown, the defendant brought a knife to a track meet for what probably could have been a fist fight at worst. The family could make this $1 million bond right now as soon as they get access to it. I don't know why we are here. Prosecutors also asked about a separate assault. Let me run that back. Prosecutors asked about a separate assault involving Carmelo Anthony on February 4th, which was handled internally by Frisco ISD. During closing arguments, defense attorneys told the judge maintaining the $1 million bond would be unusual considering Anthony's lack of criminal history. They asked the judge to reduce the bond to $150,000. Prosecutors asked that the $1 million bond remain in place, telling the judge that the amount is standard for murder cases in Collin County. The judge, however, ultimately ruled that the bond be lowered to $250,000, and if Anthony's family were to bond him out of jail, Anthony would be required to stay at his parents' house and wear an ankle monitor. The judge said if Anthony violated that rule, he would be returned to jail. So basically, Carmelo Anthony's family, they're playing a little funny with the money, right? Because with the money that they've already raised, they could have bonded Carmelo Anthony out of jail already, but they haven't. Now, I understand there's a process. They can't necessarily get the money right away. But I think we should keep our eye on that situation because remember all of the money that was raised for BLM? Where did that go? Not a single dollar that was raised for Black Lives Matter trickled back into the black community. No, the black community was basically conned by BLM, and then the leaders went off and bought a bunch of freaking mansions in white neighborhoods. So I think we need to pay close attention to all of this money being raised because before you know it, they may have another BLM Karmelo Anthony freaking mansion built or something like that. So they're kind of acting funny about the money, but either way, the bond has been reduced. I'm assuming that they're going to pay it and that Karmelo would be out of jail soon. That's how this is definitely going to go. Now, it's interesting that they brought up the fact that Karmelo had a previous assault situation that I guess happened at school on February 4th. They did not go into full detail about that, and this is a detail that the local school district is desperately trying to hide. The local school district is desperate to hide Karmelo Anthony's history because he does have a history of problematic behavior at school. And they don't want that to get out there because if they properly disciplined him, there's a chance that he wouldn't have been at that track meet. So the school district has blood on their hands. I mean, hell, even one of Karmelo Anthony's friends spoke to the local news and said that she knew Karmelo Anthony for fighting.
One girl that we spoke with knew Anthony pretty well, that she says, and told us this.
I'm in shock because it's like, I wouldn't expect that from him. I only know him fighting and stuff but to take someone's life is just like a different level.
So we have Karmelo Anthony's own friends saying that he was known for fighting. We had the local news report that Karmelo Anthony was suspended from school recently, but we never got any updates on that. We had local news report that Anthony was skipping. We had a local news report that Anthony had brought a knife to school previously. We never got any updates on those stories or on those leads, if you will, because the school district in Frisco refuses to talk about it. But now we're hearing about an incident that happened on the 4th, an assault. I guess he was fighting, hit someone. He did something on the 4th that they're not letting us know either. So when you turn on the local news, it's really sickening to see that some of these news outlets are trying to paint Karmelo out to be this pristine citizen. Oh my God, he's such a great kid. Never mind the fact that he stabbed someone in the chest. He worked at Foot Locker, guys. Sure, he stabbed that kid in the chest, but he did work at Foot Locker. When he was like 5, I think he was in a swimming pool and he helped some kid. So it's like they're going out of their way to make Karmelo look like an angel, but angels don't bring knives to track meets and stab other kids in the chest. I think that's evidently clear, but the internet is reacting to this story. They're reacting to the information about Karmelo Anthony's bond being reduced, and I came across this clip that I want to show you guys really quickly. But before I roll this clip, people often ask, how can they support the channel? The answer to that question is very simple. You can support the channel by liking this video, dropping a comment, and sharing this video on social media. But if you want to take your support one step further, you could always send a super thanks or a Cash App. Always greatly appreciated. Now, with that being said, let's listen to this guy's opinion about everything that's going down in this case.
This is insane work. Insane work. And they always try to cover it up by saying, I'm not saying all white people are racist, and I'm not saying this. Don't just say how you feel. Admit to being a racist yourself. Because in my opinion, that is the only way you can support Karmelo Anthony. Because you're racist and you don't like white people and you're glad he killed a white boy. That is the only way you can justify supporting Karmelo Anthony. The police statement has been put out. We've seen and read the same information, yet the only group of people that are painting a narrative or interpreting the situation completely different are black people.
He's right. It's not that complicated. This is not a complicated case. In reality, this is a very simple case. Probably the most simple case I've ever covered. The only reason it feels so complicated is because we have a lot of racists who have attached themselves to this case, and they're spreading all of this hate, they're spreading all of these lies, and all of this misinformation. So it's giving you the illusion that this case is extremely complicated when it's not. If this case involved 2 black kids, none of these people would care. Because black kids are getting killed at an alarming rate within the black community in inner cities every single day. There's no stink made about it. People will literally say RIP to the kid that got murdered, and then they'll say free the killer. And then they'll go get an airbrush t-shirt, and then they'll move on till the next little kid gets killed. So I mean, there's really no reason here to overcomplicate things. Just understand the reason why we have to keep having these conversations. The reason why I have to explain things to you all like you guys are freaking 5 years old is because we have a lot of ignorant people who have taken interest in this case. Not because they're interested in the facts, but because they're interested in spreading hate about white people. You'll see some of these people down in the comments below, I am sure. But for now, you guys let me know what you think about all of these details. While you're here, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.